Hello, good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to my channel and welcome to my live. Just a new thing I've started to do of Premier League predictions of the weekend. Just started to do it. Just dropping what I think my predictions will be, and if anyone wants to drop in the comments and let me know if they agree or disagree, they are more than welcome. It's been quite busy. The YouTube world has been quite busy for me. My channel is growing, 98 subscribers at the moment, which some people might think that's not a lot, but I only started a couple of months ago, and Rome was built in a day, not 2 months. No, Rome wasn't built in a day. Sorry, that's the saying. It wasn't built in a day. But it's going really well, and I'm enjoying it. I'm enjoying chatting to new people. Never thought I'd be able to do this in a million years, but I'm doing my thing. And if anyone wants to have a little chat, on the streams, people can come on and have a little chat at some point. Obviously not today because I'm doing my predictions, but this evening I'll do a show, new show I've named it, called Friday Diagnosis, which has been talking about the weekend's games. Sunderland obviously first. On Monday I've got Monday therapy session. On Friday I've got Friday Diagnosis, which will just be talking about the games coming up. Wednesday I'll also do another show on Wednesday, which I'm going to be doing. But at the moment, I didn't have one last week. I did a watch along for the last Wednesday of the PSG Liverpool game. But I will be doing a show on Wednesdays when no football is on. If anyone wants to come on and have a chat, that is no issues at all. So yeah, the Premier League is back. Fantastic news about that. Fantastic news about that. The Premier League's back. I'm also skeptical because Spurs are back. Spurs haven't been able to stress me out for the last few weeks, but now they are back to stress me out. I'm doing a watch along on Sunday of the Spurs game, which I'm dreading in a way because when it comes to Spurs, they stress me out so much it can affect my health. So I'm wondering what I'll be like in that game. Hopefully, we go to Sunderland and get a result, which we'll see in my predictions in a little while. That's what I'm hoping for. I've got a comment here. Let's just read it. From Paul. Big up, Paul. I will come on tonight. What time are you on? I'm on. I think I'm on at 8:30. Double check that. I think it's 8:30 I'm on. Just keep an eye on it. You're more than welcome on, mate, if you want to come on, have you say. Just talking about the game, really. Probably talk about the same stuff I always talk about. But just talk about what everyone's thoughts of the game coming up with Robert De Zerbi's first game in charge. Hopefully, we get a win. That's all. Because I'm a bit worried about, West Ham, if they win tonight, we're in the bottom three. Now, do our players have enough fight in us to get us out of it? That's the question. But hopefully, De Zerbi gets a reaction from the players. These players need to react to someone, and hopefully De Zerbi's that person. So we'd have to wait and see what happens. Obviously, very nervous about staying in the Premier League. The other week, I was adamant we were going down. I thought there's no way in hell we are staying in this Premier League with the players we've got, the managers we keep bringing in. Now, I'm a bit more confident with De Zerbi. I think if someone's got to change at some point, we've not won a game all year, and we've got to win eventually, haven't we? So I'm a little bit more confident that we can stay up now. But the other teams down there are showing a bit of fight. We have to show a bit of fight. And we have to go to Sunderland tonight, and we have to on Sunday. And we have to get a win. There's no draw, there's no defeat. We have to win. And that is not an easy place to go to, is it? Paul's come back in there. Paul's come back, said, yeah, hopefully Wolves pull something out the bag. Yep, I agree. To be honest, Wolves are not a bad side. They're doing it, aren't they? They are playing well. They're playing better than us at the moment. But they are playing well at the moment, Wolves. Now, you'll see in my predictions in a minute. Now, I've been saying for ages that Wolves would get a result against West Ham. I just had a feeling that Wolves would get a result. And I think some people are like, are you mad or something? But Wolves are not, They are not a bad side. Since Rob Edwards has come in, they've done all right. They've got rid of a few players and they've brought in a few new players because their hope of staying in the Premier, obviously competing in the Championship next season. So they've brought in Championship style players, but they've actually done better than probably a lot of fans thought they would do. But my prediction, I've changed my prediction for the West Ham game just to play it safe. But knowing my luck, and I actually hope I am running away with what prediction I've gone for. But don't count off Wolves. You know, they've got some good players, Wolves. They've also got a youngster, I can't remember his name, plays on the wing, but he's a really good little player. I've seen him. And they have got some good players at Wolves. They're not a bad side. I know they were struggling, but they have got some really good players. And I believe that they can, you know, on their day, they can cause anyone up problems. I mean, they caused Arsenal problems the other week. They caused, who was it? Was it Liverpool? Yeah, Liverpool. They caused some problems. They, who else? They caused some else. They caused Arsenal problems home and away, didn't they? So, you know, they've got some. Remind me some. I mean, other games they caused Spurs problems over the season, but they always seem to get a result against Spurs, don't they? But they've, you know, Wolves are not a bad side. They've got some good players. So we'll go to the start of my predictions. What I think. So let me get my predictions on the screen now. Bear with me a second. So Wolves, West Ham and Wolves. So I've gone for a West Ham 2-1 home win. I was tempted to put Wolves to get a draw or something. I just think West Ham on a Friday night, home advantage, and a game they really have to win. West Ham. Wolves, in my opinion, are gone. But West Ham have to win. I just think West Ham will get the win, which will put even more pressure on Spurs because we're not playing until Sunday. So if we're in the bottom three, we've got to spend 2 days in the bottom three till we have a chance to get out of it. My concern is, will we get out of it? But West Ham to win, I just think. I'm praying that I'm wrong. I just don't think. I just think West. It's the game West Ham have to win. That's why I've gone for West Ham to win. But I'm begging Wolves to get a result against West Ham. I just think it'll be a bit too much in a West game that West Ham need to win. And wouldn't West Ham love it if they stayed up and they relegated us? They would absolutely love it. But that is my prediction for West Ham Wolves. I've gone for 2-1 to West Ham. And drop in the comments, do you agree with my prediction? If not, I'd love to hear from you from another point of view. It would be great to hear back. Let's see. So Arsenal and Bournemouth. I've gone for an Arsenal 2-0 win against Bournemouth. I think Arsenal have been disappointing the last couple of games. Obviously, they lost to Man City in the Carabao Cup final, and they lost to Southampton 2-1 in the FA Cup. And even though they beat Sporting in the week, I never watched the game, but I heard it wasn't the most vintage performance. But they're back at home in the Premier League. This is a massive game for Arsenal. They play first before Man City do. And Man City have got a tough game against Chelsea, which, you know, I know Chelsea are not playing well at the moment, but it's still not an easy game for them. But it's a game that Arsenal, I think, with home advantage, Bournemouth playing a high line. I just think Arsenal will get back to winning ways. I'm hoping wrong. I just think they will. And if they win, they'll go 12 points clear. Now, psychologically, that's a massive advantage for Arsenal. With Man City, Man City can still win the league. I mean, they're 9 points behind now. And if they win their game in hand and beat Arsenal, that's only 3 points. But psychologically, if Arsenal win here, then Man City will have to go to Chelsea and win. I mean, Man City are going to have to do Chelsea anyway and win, but if they won here, that adds a bit of extra pressure to Man City, and Arsenal will think they've got one hold on the title. If they lose this, then you start to wonder, I don't know, psychologically, would this damage Arsenal? Arsenal fans are in meltdown. I keep hearing Arsenal fans in meltdown because they lost the Carabao Cup final against Man City and then went out of the FA Cup in Southampton. What happened to the quadruple from Arsenal? I kept hearing this quadruple talk, but they talked about when the team's doing really well. They talked about the quadruple every year, don't they? Liverpool last season, they were talking about them the quadruple. Man City a few years ago, they were talking about them doing the quadruple. But doing a quadruple is a lot harder than a lot of fans think, and which just goes to show why no team has ever won all four competitions. Even the great Man United teams and Arsenal teams in the past have never won four competitions in one season. So it goes to show how difficult it is to actually win. But Arsenal at home, Bournemouth, a bit of a funny side. Bournemouth can go to any ground and they can cause teams problems. But my concern is of their high line. They won't go to Arsenal to shut up shop. They'll go and try and take the game to Arsenal. And they have got players that can cause Arsenal issues. But my concern is Arsenal have got the players. They're at home as well, like I said, and they've got the players to hurt Bournemouth. It's probably, in a way, it's probably a perfect game for Arsenal because the way Bournemouth play. But I think Arsenal will get back to winning ways and they'll win the game by 2-0. So my next game, I've gone for Brentford 1, Everton 1. Now, this is an interesting game because Brentford at home this season have been really good, but the last couple of results have dropped off a little bit. But Keith Andrews has done an absolute fantastic job at Brentford. Who would have ever actually thought Keith Andrews, the set piece coach, would do a better job than Thomas Frank in a way? But he's gone there, and sometimes that works out. Sometimes he's got a point to prove, and it has worked out. They've lost players as well. They've lost Mbeumo, they lost Wissa, they lost Norgard, 3 top players, and they've replaced them with decent players as well. And that's the thing. That's what I like about the Brentford model, is that when players go, they always manage to replace them, bring in players, not like for like necessarily, but players that can do a job. Signing Jordan Henderson in the summer, that was taking a lot of stick. A lot of people didn't really understand it as much. But what a signing Jordan Henderson's been for Brentford. He just brings the experience. He helps out with Keith Andrews, obviously a young manager, so he should help with him a lot. He's just a perfect player to have around your team. I can imagine if Spurs signed a player like Jordan Henderson, there'll be a complete meltdown. But clubs like Brentford, experience, needs players like Jordan Henderson. I think he's been a great signing for Brentford. And that, is it Thiago up top? That's doing the business, and he's scoring goals. Only Haaland has scored more goals in the league this season. He might be a one-season wonder, but he definitely is doing the business. There'll be a lot of clubs in for Thiago in the summer. Is his name Thiago? I think it's Thiago. And my thing would be for him, he might as well stay for another year and see if he can do it again. And if he can, then get his move. But he has been a great signing. Brentford have been a breath of fresh air. The set pieces, they've caused a lot of teams this season. Now, I don't mind the set pieces, like the throw-ins and stuff. A lot of teams don't like it, but just found out the teams that don't like it, the teams that struggle to deal with it, are not very good at it themselves. But I think, as I like the way what Brentford are doing it, they might even get in Europe this season, which would be a fantastic achievement. Everton, on the other hand, their away form is actually better than their home form. They've not done too well at home this year, or this season, but they beat Chelsea before the international break 3-0 at home, which was a fantastic result. Whatever way you look at it, Chelsea are not playing well, but Everton to win 3-0, what a result that was. They go away to Brentford, which is not an easy place to go to. But it's a game. That's why I've gone for on the fence here for a 1-1 draw. I just think 1-1. I think both teams will settle for a draw as well. They're both similar positions in the league. So I think a 1-1 draw, both teams would settle for. I think that'd be a good result for both sides. But none of them are going down, are they? They're probably both of them might even go for Europe. So I think 1-1. I think they'll both take 1-1, and they'll both move on. I think that'll be a perfect result. I like David Moyes. I think what he's done at Everton on his return is excellent. Don't understand why the West Ham fans wanted him out. Just look at what's happened to them now since that's happened. So be careful what you wish for. And he's gone back to Everton and he's doing the business. So that's definitely a good story from Everton. But I've gone for 1-1. I think 1-1 will be a fair result and both teams will be happy with that. Let me know what you think in the comments. Any of these results you can. So I've gone for Burnley 1, Brighton 2. I just think with Burnley don't get battered that often, do they? They don't. When they lose, they tend to lose by the odd goal. They don't really, they don't really get battered. But they're not a team that's going to cause you many problems. They will fight and they will make it difficult for teams, but they're not good enough to to cause too many issues. I think, and unfortunately, I think they've left it too late. I think they will be get back down to the Championship. Burnley are one of these clubs. They're a bit of a strange side. They're one of these clubs that are probably too good for the Championship, but not good enough for the Premier League. Because they're a bit of a yo-yo club. They're up and down every year. But the Championship is getting stronger now, so they might struggle when they go down. A lot of fans want to stop Parker out from Burnley, which I find really strange. Because what do they expect? He's with a small budget. Obviously, Burnley's not a rich area of the world. They've got a small budget. And they're not even out. They're not even relegated yet. So that just shows Scott Parker has done a great job at Burnley. So I think they'll lose to Brighton. Brighton are a bit of a strange side as well. Brighton are pretty decent at home. It's just away from home they tend to struggle. They've got some good players though. They've got Danny Welbeck, obviously. They've got Mitoma. They've got some good players on that side. They're about mid-table area, probably the position they should be. Don't think they're quite good enough to challenge for European places, but they're not bad enough to go down. Their manager sometimes, I'm not sure about Hurtela. Compared to the manager they have had, he's probably done the worst one if you think about it, where they are. But they are overachieving every year. They're overachieving. Just to be in the Premier League for a club like Brentford is massive. I remember it wasn't that long ago that they were in League One, so to be in the Premier League is massive. And I like their model as well. They sell players, they buy players in for not too much money at all, and they end up selling them on for £100 million or whatever. And they always have replacements lined up, don't they? They do, and I just think, I just like their model. But I'm going for Burnley 1, Brighton 2. I think that will be the scoreline there. So next one, Liverpool 1, Fulham 0. Now I've gone for a low-scoring game in this one. I did the watch-along for Liverpool, for PSG against Liverpool on Wednesday, and Liverpool were poor. PSG could have won about 5-6-0, and no one would have complained. That's how bad Liverpool were. That something's clearly not right at that football club. They just don't seem to be clicking. Last season they were blowing teams away. They weren't really blowing teams away, but they were winning games. They had some players, but obviously the passing of Jota, Trent leaving, even Nunes leaving to an extent has clearly affected them. It's just the players they've brought in have not hit the ground running as the players that they had last season. But something's clearly not right. Their Salah's form's obviously dropped off and it's leaving in the summer. Robertson's not been picked as much. They've gone for Curtis. Robertson's leaving in the summer, obviously. Curtis hasn't hit the ground running like he did at Bournemouth. But something's clearly not right at Liverpool. But I think Liverpool slightly edge it. Fulham are not a bad side. They've got some good players. Trouble with them is it's consistency. They'll win a game. They'll win the one week, they'll lose the next. It's just up and down. Fulham are that type of club. But they've got some good players, and they can easily go to Liverpool and get a result. They could easily. I just think Liverpool need to bounce back. They need a win. Arne Slot's under a lot of pressure, and I think they will get a result. But and I've gone for one low score. I don't think either team will score loads of goals. I think Liverpool just edge it, only because they're at home, the home advantage. But it would not surprise me at all if Fulham get a result against Liverpool, the way Liverpool are playing. But Liverpool need to get back their ideas up eventually, because if they don't, they'll miss out on the Champions League places next season. But I think Liverpool will slightly edge this one, and they'll win the game by 1-0. Next one, Palace versus Newcastle. I've gone for a 1-1 draw. Palace played in Europe. They won 3-0 yesterday, obviously. And they don't tend to do well when they play in Europe. So I could have put Palace to lose this game. That it's they're a bit of a strange, side really. They've got some decent players, but the manager's leaving. Something's clearly not right there. Since Glasner's come out and said that he's leaving, they've quite not been the same team. They brought Johnson off Spurs in January. It hasn't quite worked out for him at Palace. I could have told Palace fans there, don't get too excited with Johnson. He's a good player. If he plays with strengths like back post tap-ins and stuff, but he's not a great footballer all round. His all-round ability is not great. Mateta wants to leave. There's players there. Adam Wharton in the summer, will teams come after him? There's just a lot of things happening at Crystal Palace. I just think with Newcastle, Eddie Howe's under a lot of pressure. Newcastle really need to win. I think Newcastle will need to win more than Palace do. They're fighting for the Champions League places. Probably not going to get the Champions League places, but they're still fighting. And they've got some good players, Newcastle have, especially in forward and midfield areas. Players like Tonali, Joelinton, Gamares in midfield. Plus, there's obviously Ramsey in there. Plus, we've got up front, they've got Barnes, Voltemada, Wissa, whoever they pick. Gordon, they've got some good players, Newcastle have. It's strange that they're struggling, and Eddie Howe's under a lot of pressure, which is strange because I think he's a decent manager and he has done a good job at Newcastle. But maybe he's taken Newcastle as far as he can. Sometimes it happens. Maybe the the England thing last year, who's linked to the job, has affected Newcastle's form. Sometimes that happens. I remember Harry Redknapp with Spurs years ago that he was linked to the England job, and Spurs' form fell off the cliff, and he never actually got the England job in the end anyway. So it can happen. But I think 1-1 will be a fair result. Both teams will probably be happy with it. Newcastle might be a bit disappointed, but 1-1 would be the result I'm going for. So I'm going for Forest 2, Villa 2. Obviously, both teams in Europe in the week. Forest got a draw away to Porto. Villa beat Bologna away. This was a hard one to call. Villa have sort of stumbled a bit in the league, and they're fighting for the Champions League places, and they have stumbled. Sorry about that. But Forest are fighting to stay in the Premier League, aren't they? They are fighting to stay in the Premier League. They need to start getting some results together. I think a draw would just be a fair result for both teams. Villa just I just think the 2-2 draw, but 2-2 high scoring game, which probably means it'll be a low scoring game of 0-0 now that I've said that. But I just think 2-2 is the result that I'm going for. Sunderland 1, Spurs 2. Now, a lot of people probably think, why am I backing Spurs with the way they're playing? I just think De Zerbi, we're going to get a new back manager bounce. I think it has to click eventually. Oh, sorry, a bit uncomfortable here. I think it has to click eventually. Sunderland are good at home. Now, I'm putting Spurs to win, but I'm not 100% convinced we will win. I just think new manager coming in, surely we're gonna get a result. We have to do it. That's why I'm thinking that we have to win eventually. We've not won a game this year in 2026. Sunderland, obviously, it's going to be a tough game, whatever way you look at it. I just think all I think is the De Zerbi effect. I think De Zerbi will just get a result in his first game. That's the only thing. But it would not surprise me at all if Sunderland beat Spurs. That's the way we're playing. I'm going to watch along for this game. I'm dreading it. I don't know why I picked the watch along for this game, to be honest, but I thought I'd give it a go. But that's what I've gone for. Sunderland 1, Spurs 2. Comment. Big up, Ghosted, mate. Big up, yeah. Cheers, mate. Cheers for coming on. Much appreciated. And Ghosted has put 2-2 for me. Well, let's hope I'm right, mate, yeah? Let's hope I'm right. Big up anyway. Thanks for that. If you're new here, give the stream a like. That'd be much appreciated. And a sub if you're new here. That'd be also good. So I've gone for Chelsea, Man City. I've gone for Chelsea 0, Man City 2. I think Chelsea at the moment are a bit all over the place, not playing particularly well. They got beaten the other week by Everton 3-0. I'm not sold on Mourinho. I just really don't get the appointment at all from Chelsea. And they've dropped Bruno Fernandes for this game, which I also find a bit strange. Not Bruno Fernandes, sorry, Enzo Fernandez, which I also find a bit strange. Yeah, he's still one of their best players. He's not, he might have spoken up a bit about wanting to leave, but drop him for one day in the FA Cup game. Why drop him for this game as well? It just doesn't make any sense. But Man City is a game that Man City have to win. They're falling behind Arsenal. Arsenal playing first, obviously they're playing Bournemouth. Man City have to win. I think they will win. I think they're suddenly picking up form. They've got a couple of the results, obviously against Arsenal in the Carabao Cup final and against Liverpool in the FA Cup last week. And I think they will win. I think they'll bounce back. I think they'll get 3 wins in a row. Chelsea, and which heaps more pressure on Arsenal. And I hope they do. I don't want to be biased, but I hope they do get a result. I can't hear you, so please type in the chat. What's your win rate? You can't hear me? Can anyone else hear me? Drop in the comments. Our win rate's really poor. I have no idea, mate. It's that bad. Hopefully I've not had any issues with this. And then last one is Man United against Leeds. I think United will beat Leeds 3-1. I think United are playing really well at the moment. Some good football. Leeds, I know they've won the FA Cup last week, but they're falling closer to that relegation places. And I hope United do get a result, which I don't really want to say this. My mate's a Man United fan, and he loves it when Spurs lose, and so I love it when United lose. But this weekend, I'm hoping that he does. United do us a favour and beat Leeds. I'm going for United 3-1 to win. So let's hope that is the case. United are going for Champions League places as well. They're playing really well at the moment, and I do think they'll beat Leeds at home. If it was the other way around, if it was at Leeds, then it might be a closer game. I just think United at home, much better side. Playing really well, not played for a while. They'll be up for this game and they will win 3-1. I've gone for 3-1 because the other ones I put quite close to the other scorelines, but I think United will destroy Leeds in a way. 3 goals against them. So that's the last one. Another comment here. Your baby's asleep, RJ. And go Champions League, man. Yeah, I think you'll get Champions League, mate. You'll get there. But if you're new here, drop us a like and a sub. Much appreciated. That's my friendly predictions for this week. I'll be back on tonight about 8:30. And if anyone wants to come on and talk football, they are more than welcome. But that's all for now. Have a great day, everyone. Big up to everyone that's joined, liked, and if anyone's subbed, big up as well. I'll see you tonight about 8:30. I think it's 8:30 or 9. I think it's 8:30. I've booked it for. So 8:30. But all I have to say is have a great week. Have a great weekend. Have a great evening. If you don't come on, if I don't speak to you again, and come on, you Spurs, do it for us this weekend.